This week on the show, it's sort of a Greco spectacular as we're talking about the Odyssey as well as a change in the lead of God of War on Amazon Prime. All that plus, we're going to be talking Doomsday. I don't really know where Latveria is. And until we get more specific information, it's time for Nerdigo News. Bruno, do the thing. Welcome to Nerdigo News, the only entertainment news show coming to you this week away from San Diego Comic-Con, but sort of at San Diego Comic-Con. KB is there, our in-the-field reporter, who is going to be coming to us on the website all week with stuff from San Diego Comic-Con. So I want to remind you to check in with our website, nerdigo.com, where you can see stuff. But we're going to be talking about it here on the show right now. We have a bunch of trailers from Comic-Con to get to. We have some entertainment news churn to talk about, like potential Letterboxd acquisition and the change in the lead role of the God of War Amazon Prime series. Plus, we've all seen the Odyssey, so we have reviews to talk about there. Before we do, just some quick housekeeping. Want to remind you, nerdigo.com, type in your email address, subscribe to everything we do. You can also head over to youtube.com/@nerdigomedia to get our video stuff, or you can get us on social media at Nerdigo Media, wherever you do the social thing. Make sure you subscribe. Before we jump too far into it, I want to introduce my co-hosts. They are chief film critic for the website, Deepak Chitnis. Perfect. Very good. Producer of this fine program and others, Bruno Meneses.
I'm going to have fun editing that one.
And he has wise eyes, Athena's eyes. It's Jackson Trahan.
Don't kill me. Like the world into a dark age.
I might be Zendaya.
We got to follow Cruz's law. You send everyone a coconut cake on their birthday.
Exactly. These are the rules. So, guys, we have a lot of stuff to talk about in the entertainment world this week. Bruno, we wanted to get started by talking a little bit about the mix-up that has come to Amazon Prime's God of War adaptation. We had previously got a first look at the cast of this show. There had been some mixed reviews of the cast, sort of, the general thing that happens when makeup and costume tests come out and everybody goes, grumble, grumble, grumble. But now it sounds like the lead actor is hurt and has to drop out of the show. What's going on here?
Yeah, so it was previously cast with Ryan Hurst in the lead as Kratos. We actually saw him recently in the Odyssey playing Mentor. And I've known him previously from Sons of Anarchy. He's also just known in like a lot of other projects. He did play Thor. He voiced and I think provided motion capture for Thor in one of the God of War games. So he already had a relationship with the franchise, which was like one of the main like selling points that like fans were sort of like on board with it. And then apparently while he was filming a stunt, he tore his bicep, and the recovery timetable looks like it's just not going to line up well with when they plan to release the show. And so I think they spent like a week or two at least trying to find a replacement for him, like when it comes to recasting, and they finally landed on former WWE champion Braun Strowman, which is not something I was expecting to see. He hadn't like really done a jump to acting, at least as of late. He's been doing a lot of like reality presentation stuff, but I'm excited to see what he comes out of here. It seems like one of those cases where, like back when Mortal Kombat 2 was being cast, The Miz, also from WWE, was heavily clamoring to beat Johnny Cage, and everyone properly ignored him. So I'm curious to see why people didn't ignore Braun Strowman this time around.
Strowman is 6'8". He is 386 pounds. He certainly seems to be the sort of shape of a guy that you would want to have play Kratos. But I think I'm with you, Bruno, that the question mark is definitely the lack of prior acting experience, right? I mean, he has a few things on his his general credits, but as you say, they're basically all WWE style credits, right? He's done the video games, he's done some TV appearances, he's done some movie stuff.
Is WWE not acting?
It is.
Well, this is a good question, right? It's not acting.
It is stage combat for sure.
Yeah,
but I don't know if it requires the same level of chops as maybe a scripted.
I think Dwayne Johnson would disagree.
Well, now listen, I actually would love to talk about Dwayne Johnson a little bit this week, so let's stick a pin in that for a minute. But it is interesting to see the guys who can come out of WWE as successful actors versus the guys who.
Well, that was going to be my question: is why not just cast Batista? Is there something physically that he can't do it? But I guess there is the proportion of Kratos that he probably does not fit.
I also just don't.
He's like 50.
That's the
Yeah.
thing. Like, there are
I-
so many successful wrestling guys that go to movies, right?
Mhm.
Like The Rock or John Cena or
Mhm.
Batista. You know,
Right.
but I don't. The two TV route. I guess Samoa Joe has played the
He was the
clown, the evil
yeah,
clown on Twisted Metal.
right.
But it's
Uh,
less common, right?
Roman, what's the
Roman
Rock's cousin?
Reigns.
Yeah, the guy. I
Ro-
think he was in Hobbs and Shaw briefly, but I don't know if he's
he
done anything else.
he will be in the upcoming Street Fighter as well as Cody Rhodes. Like Street
Oh,
Fighter
okay.
did pick up a couple WWE people, which was
That's good.
which is very fitting for just like what the style that they're going for with that. Like it's very fitting to bring in WWE people for sure.
Big over the top theatrical
Right.
stuff. Yeah.
Well,
And
and
that's
that's
the
almost
thing. Like it's a level like these wrestlers they have a level of like melodrama to them, right?
yeah.
That like you don't really see in like prestige television, which is what they seem to be going for with the Kratos show. I'm not too sure yet. Yeah.
Well, I think that's an interesting part of it, right? Because Jack, we definitely talked about how the God of War games sort of went through a pivot, right? Where like the original sort of 2000s trilogies were just these hack and slash, beat up the big monster games. But this reboot that seems to be more the basis for the TV show is like the quiet, meditative, contemplative, like bad dad, grumpy series that everything in the 2020s is.
Mhm.
And I think that that's like what you need the wrestler to be able to do, right? Is like be grumpy, emotional Kratos.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I definitely don't think that you're going to sell the spectacle as well as the games do for a lot of reasons. One, because they were animated, even if it was a while ago.
hmm
I think that buys you a lot of leeway. And two, because they are interactive, I don't think that necessarily watching a guy take down this big scary monster will be as satisfying if you weren't somehow directly involved with it.
Yeah, right.
I think the compelling stuff from God of War to adapt as far as a TV show is concerned is definitely the later stuff, and certainly Atreus's presence. Not to say there won't be action scenes, but it seems like that's what they're pointed at as far as stories concerned.
I thought it was interesting, speaking of Atreus, that this week we started to get some rumors trickling in from the set of the HBO Harry Potter show about how challenging that production has been. And like just the perpetual churn of we have to stick kids in this prestige TV show. I'm like, guys, it never works. Like, we're going to watch this Atreus kid grow up way too quick, right? And I'm just like,
Season
stop
2 of
putting.
Netflix's Avatar just came out.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
How are they looking? Is Aang still appropriately
He's
aged?
like a foot taller.
Yeah.
Harry Potter's saying they're going to do one every 2 years, so we'll see. I have my
Doesn't
doubts.
seem possible. I mean, we're even
It's
seeing
possible. I just don't think the kids are going to look. I mean,
That's the thing. Yeah, right.
It's not going to work.
House of the Dragon, like all these shows, they're all having
Mhm.
the same sort of thing.
Well,
they
Game of
have to
Thrones had
plan
it too,
around.
right? We saw all those kids grow up for like 10 years.
Can I get on a tangent really quick? Because there is something that I have thought about like when it comes to this lately. And
Oh,
just,
please.
like, movies and like not movie TV show scheduling and like kid actors and all that. Like in Brazil, I'm very used to just telenovelas, which is something where they'll shoot like hundreds of episodes just like all in advance
Yeah.
and get it all out like on some like most of the time on a daily basis, and you will just have like
It's the same
the
in
whole
India.
story running like endlessly, and well, not endlessly, but like it feels endlessly for just how long it goes.
Mhm.
Would a format like that fit something like this?
The thing with the telenovelas and soap operas and all that is that they are very, very low budget, and they are
Right.
very, very like they're usually not filmed in front of a live audience, but they're on sound stages with recycled sets, and there
Multicams
aren't
and-
CG and all the other stuff. With something like God of War, you're going to need all sorts of
Yeah, that's fair.
fancy crap. So
And this is something that I had expected us to come to later in the conversation when we're going to be talking about the Doomsday trailer. But I'm happy to kind
What's
of
that?
start to. Well, I'll tell you. Don't go anywhere if you want to learn more about that. But I'll tease it a little bit right now by just saying I think that part of this too, Bruno, is also that like this high production quality stuff is
Right.
starting to become more the domain of television. Like
Mhm.
I felt like
Mm.
watching this Doomsday trailer this week, I was like, this just looks like streaming now. Right, like the Star Warsification of the streaming platforms, the Marvelification of the streaming platforms. Now I sort of feel like audiences have a baked-in expectation of like incredibly high production value, like
Right.
CGI coming out the ass, for example, on these prestige streaming shows, whereas something like the Odyssey that we're also going to be talking about this episode, right? Like it's like, no, that's a stately movie. It doesn't have to be as gaudy, right? Like we're in this weird inversion right now.
Well, there's two things there. One is there was an interesting note, I think, from the Hollywood Reporter this week that audiences generally are looking to movies that went through what they call it the hard way. Like it wasn't
Right.
just we filmed something and then we did everything in like our studio and the computer later. It's like, no, we actually were inside the stupid horse for like a day and a half.
Right.
And the other thing is that, yeah, there is the expectation of getting greater spectacle and greater CGI and all of that with the TV show, in large part because they're taking 3 years to make 8 episodes. You better give me something good.
Right.
Right.
I think that's absolutely part of it, is the fact that these shows aren't continuing to deliver on what once was a very reliable promise that a TV show would have a season every year,
Mhm.
right? And now shows are
22
coming out with
episodes.
new seasons every 3 years, every 5 years, even
Yeah.
more, and that's becoming more and more the norm. I think if shows are able to deliver on reliable schedules, like that could become much more, like you say, Deepak, with the Harry Potter thing. Like if that show actually does hit every 2 years, it will become everyone's favorite show just because of the predictability,
It will
right?
be
Like
awesome. It will be appointment viewing every holiday season. We'll know, okay, or every other holiday season, we'll know there's a new Harry Potter, and we'll look forward to seeing the kids again. And the new
Right.
generation that is growing up without the books or without the movies, at least happening concurrently, they'll have this to grow up with. That's great for them.
right, if they can deliver on it.
My yeah, if they can deliver on it. And my other issue is that when when there's shows like Pluribus, which have been bought with 2-season orders,
Yeah.
why are you waiting till the end of the first season to then go ahead and make sure that you've got the official green light to go? Like, you should at least have it mapped out. I understand there are guild
Yeah.
regulations and all this stuff, but you should not be starting from scratch a month after your finale has aired going, okay, what do we got?
I think that the prestige television era, right, which sort of ended when Breaking Bad went off the air, and there were
Or
certainly
Game of
great
Thrones,
shows.
really.
There were some really great shows after that, but
Yeah.
like sort of the culture of prestige TV, I think, changed in a
Mhm.
post Mad Men, post Breaking Bad world, and a
Mhm.
lot of the like worst impulses came to the fore. You know, there's like a joke that I often will make with Maggie where we'll talk about how like if you're going to make a TV show of a pre-existing property, it's very important that the first season not do anything. Right. So like if you were gonna make, like, remember when they did the Godzilla show and like the whole first season was just like getting to the existence of Godzilla? Or,
Right.
you know, like you can do anything like that, right? Where the whole first season is just like, we're gonna introduce the
Right.
title of the show to you over the course of 10 episodes.
Mhm.
And
And it worked. The second
it's just
season,
these,
we knew the characters, we knew the monsters. It was the second season ripped.
but you could have known all that stuff by the second episode, is my point. Like it's just this wheel
Yeah.
spinning has become so like, you know, rote now. Like it's just predictable. Like
Well,
there are these
because
formulas that they say work, and I think it's just becoming tired.
Well, and then also, I mean, this problem still happens, albeit to a lesser extent, where they're taking these streaming shows and they're really just features that have been
Yeah.
padded and stretched
Broken
out
down
to,
into
like,
8,
6 or
10
7.
episodes,
Yeah, and it's
added
like
out the right way.
you didn't need this many
Right.
episodes to remake Presumed Innocent. Like, it was good, but you could have done it. You could have done
Well,
it.
especially some of these shows that are like remakes of TV. Right now that we're
Cape
getting
Fear.
like
I'm watching Cape Fear right-
TV
yeah.
show, we're getting the
I'm on
Presumed
episode
Innocent.
4 of Cape Fear. You could have done this in
The
one
Body
night.
Heat TV show coming
Right.
soon. Just wait.
That's what this is, pretty much.
In the meantime, we have one more quick piece of news we want to get to before we talk San Diego Comic-Con trailers and then get to our Odyssey review. This is a story that I'll be honest, I haven't been following as closely as I think some people have been, but I think we're all aware that Letterboxd, the very successful social media app that we all use to track our movie watching habits, is sort of in the acquisition mode, as all apps eventually get to in some point. Letterboxd has certainly been very successful, and its potential for acquisition has been pretty public, with companies like Netflix and A24 vying for the potential acquisition deal. I'm curious what you guys make of the current status of a company acquiring Letterboxd. I wonder if you think you know who a favorite is, or if you could handicap the race in any way. And I'm curious what you think Letterboxd being acquired portends for the future of Letterboxd. Like, is the Netflix Letterboxd going to suck, for example? I think that's kind of the conversation I want to have.
Yeah. Sorry, what was the first thing you asked there?
I just think, like, do you have any guesses of like who's going to buy it?
Yeah,
do we
it
have
looks
any?
like sorry,
A24 does seem like the favorite, right?
Yeah, so this came from, I think I dropped this in the chat, from The Ankler, written by Ashley Collins. I'm not a subscriber to that site. I actually have not heard of that site previous to now, but they seem
I
legit.
like the Ankler a lot. I do know
Okay.
them and will plug them.
Okay, yeah, they seem legit, so that's why I'm not doubting the reporting here. But
Mhm.
they're the ones that are saying A24 is seriously looking at Letterboxd, and who else is circling. I can't see who else is circling, but yeah, like you're saying, A24 seems to be the leader. A24 of, I mean, if you're talking about like Netflix, Apple, those kinds of Amazon companies, I would prefer A24. I
Mhm.
don't
Yeah.
know. A24 is the one that, or Neon feels like they're the ones that have the most sensibility overlap with the Letterboxd crowd, as it were, and would hopefully retain it. I don't know if there would be any sort of additional bias in some way towards films from that studio or against films from other studios or something like
Right.
that, but I can't imagine that that's something that like the Letterboxd film nerd community is so like, oh no, if I'm into that, I'm into it, and I'm going
Right.
to find it, I'm going to promote it no matter what.
Right. Exactly.
Well, and that community has been so, I feel, kind of involved in so much of the drama, the political drama of some of these acquisitions, right? We've seen like the Netflix, Warner Brothers, Paramount scuttlebutt go back and forth, right? Things like that. And I think the kind of film intellectual hive mind or whatever, right? Like the movie film bro glitterati, whatever you want to call that exists online. Like I feel like we'll sort of weigh in an active way where they might have a negative vibe if, for example, Ted Sarandos and Netflix acquired
Yeah.
Letterboxd.
That's actually a curious point also, is if Letterboxd does get acquired by, say, God forbid, Paramount,
Sure.
do we see guys like Ehrlich and Fennessy and like just the more influential guys just dip?
I think that's an interesting question. Probably not, right? They're still going to be reviewing Paramount movies,
Right.
Warner Brothers movies, whatever. I think they do have to
I don't
be.
even think they review them on the site really. I think they just kind of like log them. Like, oh yeah, I've seen this.
They'll log them, or like if they do an official review, they will link to,
Like
like Ehrlich will
blurb
like
and
link
here's
to
the full
IndieWire,
review.
for
Yeah.
example.
Right.
I do wonder how reliably that community maintains, though. Like for me, there's going to be, I think Netflix is the easy example for me to use, but like if Letterboxd just became the Netflix social media app, I could see a lot of people leaving it, right? Just kind of
Yeah.
being like, oh, this is for squares now.
Yeah.
Well,
but
people will join. I think more people in the aggregate will use it, but it's less of the people who are currently using it who would still be using it afterwards.
yeah, that could be very true. Do you remember, Deepak? I was trying to do this mental exercise the other day and I couldn't quite get there. But do you remember the predecessor to the Criterion channel? Was it the Turner Classic Movies app?
Yeah, it was something like that, but it was like an add-on.
Right. And it was so and this was going to be a couple years before the pandemic, and I don't mean to like go into ancient online history, but there was this app that Filmstruck.
Yes, that's the one. That's the one. Yep.
It was called Filmstruck, and the whole sort of like broy online movie community was very into it. And then somebody bought some other company, and it was just like in the marginalia. They were like, also Filmstruck doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
And like the entire online film community freaked out. And maybe 2 days later, Criterion announced they were rolling out a streaming service. Like this was sort of bang, bang, bang how it happened.
Yeah.
And it makes me think that even if the worst case scenario is that like Letterboxd goes away, nature abhors a vacuum, right? Like another thing will sort of show up and we'll go, oh, now this is our movie stream social media app. Yeah, right. And it's nerdigo.com. Type in your email address. Yeah, no, exactly. Great point. And also, we are for sale, Netflix. Get in touch.
I really like money.
Yeah. All right. We are going to really quickly run through the stuff that we have seen from San Diego Comic-Con already, give you an insight into some of our favorites, some stuff that we are maybe less excited about. Who knows? I don't know what we're going to say. I don't have any Palantirs with me right now. But and then we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll go to the Odyssey. So let's start with San Diego Comic-Con. Does everybody want to take one title that they've been particularly excited about before we talk of the Doomsday?
I'm excited about this Doomsday thing I heard about 20 seconds ago.
Yeah.
I've been doing some Googling.
I mean, the most thing I'm most excited about at Comic-Con isn't even an American movie. It's the Ramayan, which is...
Tell us about Ramayan. Yeah, you are definitely amped for this.
Yeah, this is part one of... I mean, we're coming off of the Odyssey. This is like the Hindu version of the Odyssey in some ways.
It is.
Oh, shit.
They're splitting it into two parts. There's one part coming out this year, one part coming out next year, and they're both going to be around October, November time. But yeah, the Ramayan is the story of a prince who is banished to a forest for 14 years due to political machinations from his father's competing wives. So he and his brother and his wife go out to the forest to be banished. And while they're there, the wife is in similar fashion to the Iliad. She is seen by a enemy king and is coveted and kidnapped by that king and taken to, they call it Lanka. Obviously, that's Sri Lanka. Rama, the prince, has to get her back and his brother, but there's only two of them against this king who is actually a 10-headed demon with an army of his own. So they have to go and find the monkey god Hanuman and raise his army of monkeys who can fly and do all sorts of crazy things. And then there is war between that kingdom and Lanka. And yeah, it's pretty good.
It's one of those stories that is like as old as time, right? Like
Yes.
Beowulf or the
Yes.
Iliad or
Right.
the Epic of Gilgamesh. It's being directed by the director of Dangal.
Yes, which is still the highest grossing Indian movie of all time.
The trailer looks sick as shit.
Yes, it's very, very glossy CG, the type that Bollywood has really never done before.
Yeah, but it's if like pull up the trailer for this and you guys will see like what I would love the Silmarillion movie to look like. Like that is what we're,
yes,
like it's like dust in space that looks like men fighting. Like it looks so cool. So yeah, no, I am very much here for Ramayana. I it's been one of the things that Deepak and I have been going back and forth about all year as he's been educating me on how Hanuman is not just Dev Patel from Monkey Man.
Or the Jabari peoples,
or the Jabari from no, hey, no sneaking in Doomsday just yet. I have been particularly excited for Coyote versus Acme, which got a new trailer.
Yes,
the final trailer continues to look excellent. I think that the like frame of the story is firming up really nicely. It is buck wild to me that this movie was not made as a critique of the Paramount acquisition of Warner Brothers, but now reads so cleanly as a critique of the Paramount acquisition of Warner Brothers.
This studio keeps shooting itself in the foot so fucking much. If they had, we talked about Streisand effect the other day, right?
Yeah.
If they had just let this go the time it was supposed to go. No.
I don't mean to undercut your metaphor, Deepak, but it's almost like there's some sort of idiot coyote that keeps blowing himself up with dynamite over and over again.
Who's the roadrunner in this? Life?
Yeah, right. No, just box office success. However much money they could have made off the Batgirl movie. I mean, yeah, right. Yeah. It's but just the voiceover of whoever it is, Yosemite Sam or Foghorn. I guess it's Foghorn Leghorn saying that
right,
the movie's being released for tax accounting purposes only. And it's so good. So I'm very much looking forward to that. I really liked the. It was much clearer to me in this version of the trailer where the delineation between animation and real life stuff is going to be like next to nothing here. It looked as if Wile E. Coyote tipped over and like launched into the air a real semi truck. I'm not sure if they're doing that level of stunts in the Wile E. Coyote movie or not, but I'm so excited to find out if they're doing like Nolan style Mack truck flips in this cartoon.
It looks nuts. I mean, I'm still impressed whenever I watch like
Roger Rabbit.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Yeah.
Thank you. So
Space
to see modern technology take on the same problem would be very fun. I am excited, of course, for the new Avatar series, which we got a trailer for. This Avatar 7 Heavens. Nickelodeon's Avatar.
That's a strange mashup.
That's Deepak, you're thinking of Avatar 7th Heaven, in which Jake Sully has to raise a house full of Christian teens.
Hold on, is it 7 Havens? Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, right. Oh, Havens. I understand.
Yes. My bad. But it looks interesting. It has a very different animation style to either of the other Avatar series.
It seemed a lot more colorful to me, Jack. Do you think that's fair to say?
Yeah,
I don't mean to indict the old one.
It's a lot more colorful, a lot sort of flatter, and maybe more anime inspired, if that's possible.
That cat had some big eyes. Neonate traits all over that cat.
So we'll see. It's not too much in the trailer. It's only a couple of minutes long. If you know of the lore, you can probably predict at least a couple of things. But I am just excited that the series is getting some love again, and hope that it continues to. And hilariously, it seems like they are releasing the series on the day that the Avatar movie was supposed to be released before it got leaked early and then subsequently
leaked and broke.
Leaked in an email and then subsequently released on streaming unceremoniously. So That's an insane pivot, but whatever.
Jack, before we move on from Avatar, I just wanted to ask you. I know that Paramount's in such insane straits right now, and like obviously acquiring Warner Brothers is a part of trying to fix some of that. But there's always this talk of like, what's the Paramount IP, right? And people talk about like Star Trek or Fast and Furious or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or Mission
Transformers.
Impossible.
They don't have Fast and Furious.
Sorry, you're right. Fast and Furious is Universal. Maybe there's some other Vin Diesel thing I'm not thinking. The point is, like, I feel like some of this stuff gets
you're
kicked
thinking of
around.
Triple X. You're thinking of Triple X.
Oh,
yeah.
I feel like Avatar is the way forward for that. Like, that's feels like one of the most powerful brands if they could figure it out. And I don't know why they keep dicking around with these half measures.
I mean, it seems like that was sort of the at least a part of the strategy going forward, since they made Avatar Studios and all of these projects started development a number of years ago now, around the time of the live action remake of Avatar, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're starting to see the fruits of that labor now, but you're right, in the wake of this merger and everything else, it's very unclear how things are going to go forward. So I hope all of these things do well, you know?
I'm looking who's standing on the mountain, and it's like, it's SpongeBob, it's Sonic, it's
I am certainly inclined to agree with you. I
Picard and
one of
Bumblebee
the best shows ever, but like,
Yeah.
I'm not exactly an unbiased source.
I'm curious.
I'm not sure if it rings well with the kids these days.
Did the Shyamalan live action movie do so much damage that Paramount is scared to attempt another live action theatrical movie? Like they just want to keep it on TV? Or
Feedback. My thesis is that Netflix show did so bad that we are like 2 years away from the dominating narrative becoming, that Shyamalan movie's not actually that bad. Like,
well, hey,
Really?
Everything old becomes
Really?
respectable, right?
That's the thing. It always swings back, baby.
Everything old becomes whores, whiskey, politicians, all of it.
Even though I still to this day refuse to watch the Netflix show, I do think the general consensus is that it's better than the Shyamalan movies.
It just hasn't become classic enough yet. Just have to give it time. It's just like Phantom. I was there when people said Phantom Menace was the worst thing they'd ever seen. Now it's a classic.
I get what you mean. I just
yeah.
And with most things I would agree, but it's just so bad.
The other day, so like you guys already know this, but earlier this year I watched Inception for the first time, and then like one of the first things that came to my mind. One of the first things that came to my mind was like, what the hell was I doing instead of this when it came out? And I did the research. It was the Shyamalan Airbender movie.
Yeah, 2010. Yeah. My mom dropped my sister off at the theater one day 20 years ago. She was like, just go see a movie. I don't care. Get out of here. So there were 2 animated movies we could see, and we chose to see the SpongeBob SquarePants movie, the original SpongeBob SquarePants. You know what other animated movie was playing at the time that I didn't see in theaters and could have, and is now one of like the classics of all time? The Incredibles.
Oh my god.
So we all make stupid decisions. It happens.
Yeah, it happens.
No, I'll go ahead and hop in on this one. Now, this was a good decision. I mean, I was being stupid in this story, but it works out well.
It's typical Riley story.
Absolutely. So in 2003, I would have been 12 years old, but that would have made Jack about 5 years old. And so our family went to the AMC Tyson's Corner, the big, nice AMC in our area, to see in theaters with the whole family in 3D, probably in IMAX 3D, Finding Nemo. And
3D back then.
And I was so grouchy, like as a preteen, that I was getting dragged to the theaters to see some animated fish movie with my little brother. I was like, I do not want to go see this dumb fish movie. And I just remember sitting there being like, this is incredible. This is one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. How did they do this? And like just being so charmed by all the delightful little characters and like the sharks. I was like, these guys are great. I love these sharks.
Charming film.
I love this stoner turtle, just like the whole way through. I just
everybody
was so great and
turtle.
delightful. So that's my opposite version of that story.
Right.
All right. Do we want to talk about Dune or Spider-Man? Bruno, probably Clayface, I would imagine we want to get into a little bit. No?
Yeah, no. This wasn't really for Comic-Con, I guess, but they did release it ahead of Comic-Con for sure. Where we got a new trailer for Clayface, and this is more of a story exposition trailer, as well as like a horror exposition trailer with like really showing us like how far
trailer than the first one was.
How far they are willing to go when it comes to like the whole horror genre.
No.
Well, I
Like
mean,
the
I did
first
like it a
trailer
lot, but
showed a
it
good
didn't
bit
make
of
me
it.
feel good feelings in my tummy.
Oh, well, this
Exactly,
one's
yeah,
not going to do that at all, Jack. This one involves
Mhm.
using pinking shears to cut apart an eyelid on an
Yep.
airplane during turbulence.
Mhm,
This
mhm,
this
mhm.
trailer is
How does one get
fucked
into such a
up.
situation?
Did not
It
see it,
was
and I'm
at
glad I
that very shot where I like. It was at that very shot where I that I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be fun," and it's
Well, and
coming
like
out
there's
on my
one where his
birthday.
face is just like boiling, like his skin just appears to be like bubbling off his body. There's a
Mhm.
really quick cutaway shot to like sludge monster Clayface. I think we're
Yeah.
definitely going to get at least a
Oh,
little
they
bit of
showed
that.
that.
They don't show it, but
Well,
they show like
no.
it's like Ang Lee
It's like a
Hulk style
silhouette.
Deepak. They show like the shadow of it.
Oh,
It's
wow.
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
very
Recommend
I
it.
cool.
never thought they would actually go that far. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Mhm. But definitely seems
So
to be like a third act sort of thing. Like and that's another
yeah,
thing. Like
yeah.
I am curious. I am curious to like find out how much of the story we are getting in the trailer, because it is like the kind of trailer that like I will send to my friend and be like, "Hey, watch this," but like be wary if you want to watch it.
Yeah. So I think that one thing that I noticed in this trailer that brought my attention maybe just to the movie a little bit more specifically than it had in the
Mhm.
past was that this is clearly Matt Hagen Clayface, but doing
Yeah.
kind of Basil Carlo Clayface story, which I think is straight DCAU, right? Like that was what the Batman the Animated Series did, was they kind of
Mhm.
took the Matt Hagen and Basil Carlo
Mm.
characters and merged them into one character that had
Right. That's very
sort
true.
of
Yeah.
one story.
Mhm.
But I had, I guess, just sort of I think it's honestly because I'd read this Batman novel that I enjoyed so much. That was a Clayface story, but that was a Basil Carlo story, and so I think I had just sort of been on Basil Carlo autopilot, and so they call him Matt Hagen a lot in this trailer,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that like just made me sort of sit up and take notice that they were doing something more specific. But I
Right.
think Bruno, everything I've seen just says they're adapting Feet of Clay from the animated show.
Yeah, and like that's what I'm saying. That's why like I was gonna hop off of you and say that I think like if you were like a comic head trying to read comics ahead of Clayface, like trying to figure out the best comics to read, I think Basil Carlo is the way to go. Like when
Hmm.
it comes to like most of the cases, I think the naming of Matt Hagen might just be like sort of a convenience thing. Like we have a Carlo in the Matt Reeves universe already, so that could be a really straightforward explanation as to why they named this one Matt Hagen.
Yeah,
There's Basil Carlo in the Reeves movie?
There's a Carlo in the Reeves movie.
there is Deepak, the Penguin TV show that you did not finish features a character whose last name is Carlo, who did make people wonder whether or not that character was going to be Clay-faced up at some point.
Because they're like a
This
master
is
of
such
like
a reach.
disguise as
I know
well
what
as like
Bruno is
I-
doing.
I-
This is a massive reach.
I don't want to lead us too far afield here, but where does this put the Pattinson and DCU integration of it all? If there's
This is what I think it is. I
That's
think
a good question.
the biggest thing for us to learn from all of this is that the money is in. Jesus, oh, so sorry.
busy boy.
I think that the lesson here is that whether or not it's Pattinson or Gunn or any other version of Gotham, moving forward, the money is in the animated series. Like people loved that cartoon.
Right.
It seems like this Two-Face movie that
Oh, the
Pattinson's going to
Batman
do.
animated series. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's all going to be we're pulling episodes and readapting.
Right. Like I think that
Yeah.
this Two-Face movie is just going to be the Two-Face animated series thing. I think
Mhm.
this Basil Carlo thing is just going to be the Clayface one. Eventually, we will get Heart.
Mr.
What is it called?
Freeze.
Heart of Ice.
Heart of Ice. Yep.
Yeah.
You know, somebody will do Heart of Ice live action. That's
Mhm.
just inevitable.
While
I think that
Stanley
there's just
Tucci is
this.
still with us.
That'd be great. So yeah, that's kind of my assessment of where we're at with it all.
I mean, Pattinson Part 2 is apparently February of 2028, so
Yeah.
No, I decided
not-
I was
For now.
meditating on this a lot, and I
For now.
decided that is good
Why?
because it lets my guy do other stuff.
yeah.
Oh, Pattinson?
apparently,
I mean,
at least
it
means
doesn't
we're
matter.
not getting anything.
He's
for a
making
while.
it now regardless. It's going to come out whenever it comes out. He can still
Yeah,
make it.
They got to
that's like-
sign him for 3 right now. They can
What-
take another 6 years. That's fine, but they
Oh,
got to
for
sign
the
him for
next
3
one.
right now.
Do we really need him doing that much more work? He had 5 movies this year.
Yeah, and this is correct. He should have 6 next year. He's very good at acting. I like.
Why are
watching
you
him be a
asking
little
that to
scumbag.
Riley, Bruno? That's like me asking you if more movies should be about Brazil.
Yeah. I am from Robert Pattinson after all.
It is the same level of loyalty.
All right, we finally got to look at this fucking Doomsday trailer everybody's been talking about. We've seen it online. They made it with Legos. They did it with animated figures. Some guy narrated the whole thing, but we finally got to see these cartoon
you were
ass
describing
people
the real
stand in
ones
different
now.
rooms
Thought you were
and get
describing the real
green
trailer.
screened into the rooms with each other. None of these people ever saw each other. None of them were face to face, but they're making what they claim is a movie. What do we think about it? I think it looks bad.
I think it looks fine. Color grading is never final in the trailer. I'm at this point so invested since the day Iron Man 1 came out in theaters and we were all in Centerville
Yeah.
watching it that
Yes.
Right.
I'm here at this point. I just want to see what the hell they're doing.
Right.
More interesting than the trailer, I thought, was the poster. Because the poster seemed to confirm a lot of the supposed leaks and rumors that I think may actually pan out. I don't know if we want to get into that now, but
It was an interesting
anyone
marketing
hasn't seen it,
decision to take
yeah.
the job that is usually reserved for the trailer, teasing the plot of the movie, and putting it instead on the poster.
Right.
And allowing the trailer to sort of function as what the poster does, just a
Right.
meaningless assemblage of images that get
Well,
us
it's just like
excited for it.
it is. You're right. It's just the floating headshot.
They flopped it. Yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't
turned
think
into
about
a
it until
trailer.
just now, but they
Yes.
totally flopped it.
Yeah, 100%. And the poster's actually really clean.
Yeah, the poster you go and that's a
poster on the
movie I would
poster.
see,
Yeah.
and the trailer is just like, hey, you like these guys?
Remember these dudes?
Hold on, I'm counting the number of discrete characters we see in this trailer.
Good, Jack. Yeah, you number
There
up
we
the
go.
trailer.
Ooh,
Well,
Bruno, you tell me if you
46.
think this thing looks like it has too many reshoots or not.
I
Do you
mean,
think
it's
they're
like
totally shooting it?
so. I mean, to your point, right? Like there are there's a lot of those moments in the trailer, in every trailer. Like any movie trailer will have those
Mhm.
moments where they will splice two like separate moments together and make them seem
Mhm.
like they're the same moment.
Yeah, right.
To like
Yeah.
throw you off. I could find all of the seams in the trailer. That's
Yes.
a bit of an issue. But I did try to focus on the positives. I did really like Doom's voice, like the introduction that we had to Doom's voice. I did like the whole speech that he was giving gave me the vibe that at least starting off he might be on their side, and then it's going to be
Mhm.
sort of like a turncoat story at some point.
There is a shot in the
what's up,
trailer where they're all assembled, and there are noticeable gaps, including one in the very center of the
Mm.
There's
frame.
definitely people we're not seeing.
Yeah, yep.
And
And
there's a
we're
good chance that's
already
Doom.
familiar with Marvel trailer magic and like what they
Mhm.
like to do.
Right.
But then like also his power scaling when it comes to like just the moment that he had with Thor and the Stormbreaker axe. But like that's the thing. I'm trying my best to focus on the positives. There are a lot of issues editing wise, but I'm also with Deepak that like maybe this isn't all final.
I count 30 discrete characters, not counting like extras.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Well,
surprised.
Bruno, do we remember how many chairs there were?
Wow,
27?
That's a good question.
There were about 27.
I think it was 27.
Yeah, I think that sounds about right. I think there was in the ballpark of 25. So,
Yeah.
The number ended in 7. I know that.
okay.
I'm also, by the way, there are people we know are in this that didn't show up, mainly Doctor Strange.
Yeah. Well, no, we don't know. We don't know Doctor Strange is in this. He was not in the chairs.
I thought we knew that because he's in the concept art.
Well, we don't
Sure
know
we
the
didn't.
concept art is real. Yeah.
Fair enough.
You would
Fair
make it overbloated.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the one too many.
There's no space for him.
Yeah.
There's definitely going to be heroes crossing over between worlds, fighting each other. I'm a little bit curious how much, like the Fox X-Men, for example, are actually going to be in this movie.
I think they're going to
How
be in a lot
much-
of it.
You think they're going to be in a lot of it? I wouldn't be
think-
surprised if they're in a lot of it.
I think they're there till the end. I think they get Infinity Ward at the end.
I saw someone mention that at least Charles and Eric we won't be seeing that much for the movie. Like their
God, I
time
hope
their
not.
time is
Just
short.
let those poor men
And-
rest.
Someone else pointed out how like in any moment we see them in the trailer, both of them are sitting, and someone mentioned we will probably be seeing them only sitting, like both of them.
Well,
Yeah.
I would certainly
One
imagine
of them-
Stewart won't be walking around all
Yeah.
that much, but yeah, they should both be. I mean, Ian McKellen's activity level will give us a good indication of what to look for in Hunt for Gollum, right? Like how firmly
Mhm,
planted is
mhm.
his ass in this movie? If he's just going to be sitting on that wagon the whole time.
Probably.
And I meant that hay wagon full of fireworks he drives around. I wasn't trying to be derogatory about his booty, just to be clear. Before we move on from Doomsday, I had one other thing I wanted to hit. Bruno, in this trailer, we do hear the Thor voiceover that talks about how He has faced enemies before, but none of them scared him as much as the enemy that they face now.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think we will see Doom tear out Thanos' entire skeleton through his chest or whatever?
God, I seriously hope so.
Me too.
So
I
hope so.
I hope so, and I
That'd be
used to
funny.
think we would, but I don't think so anymore.
You're out on it now.
No.
I
don't
feel like
think
I'm doubling down. I'm like, why not? This seems so ridiculous.
Yeah.
This isn't a movie. There's no story.
I don't think
do
it'll be
like his
necessarily
voice.
like ripping the spine out, because that could be a little bit too gory for like the movie that they're going for. But it could definitely be the sort of thing where he like vaporizes him and all that's left is like a spine and the skull.
Just sort of crumbles as an homage.
My
Jack, you-
theory is we will see Doom kill Thanos much the same way we saw Iron Man kill Thanos.
Jack, you say you like the voice?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't get a ton of it, but I'm glad he's doing like an act. Like it's not just, there was a while people were like, it's just going to be Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Like,
Hey there, guys. I'm here from Liberia.
Love you guys 3000.
but I mean, that plays into also the poster of it all, like you were talking about, and how it seems Doom heavy. which
Seems
you might
Doom
expect.
heavy.
Yeah, I think they're
never
the
know.
same way Thanos was the protagonist of Infinity War. I think Doom is going to be the protagonist of this one, and I think the poster is
Right.
very, very interesting. Yeah,
I liked the Angry Birds poster.
yeah, it was funny too.
They turned that out quick. That
It's
was
like
a
it's got to
next
be the
day
same
thing.
situation where did you see the story about how the Nirvana the band guys were talking about how they were
Yeah, they
accidentally
also-
CC'd on
Oh,
the
yeah.
design file for the Chalamet the whatever that movie was called, Marty
Yeah.
Supreme poster,
Marty
Hmm.
Supreme.
and so then they rush ordered theirs because they were trying
Yeah.
to get theirs out first. Must have been a similar
Well,
situation.
no, like their plan was to get it out at the exact same time, but they got the time zone wrong, which is why theirs came out
That's
3
right.
hours after
right.
Marty Supreme.
Mm.
All right, we are going to take a quick break here, and when we get back, we are going to review the Christopher Nolan film, The Odyssey. Don't go anywhere. All right, as we all know, woke is broke. That's why Christopher Nolan's Odyssey only made $125 million over the weekend. One of the highest grossing films of the year. A cinema score 96%, I think, on Rotten Tomatoes last time I checked. Seems to be doing pretty well. Of course, I know we're all desperately waiting for Elon's grokked up, slopified version coming to you later this year. But until then, we'll have to settle for the Nolan one. What did everybody think?
Good, well made,
Good.
solid, enjoyable, recommended. I think I like it more in the days since then, having time to like think about it more, and I'm people are picking up on the
Yeah.
details that I hadn't picked up on the first time, and I think the first time I watched it, the only time I watched it, I took it just very. The first time you see a movie, you see a movie. Right? Any Nolan movie, you're seeing it just to experience it the first time. The second time you see it, you're watching it with the subtitles, and the third time you watch it just to put everything together. If it holds up after the third time, then it's a really good movie. So we'll see. But for now, my main things were that I thought obviously it is based on a story that has a disjointed narrative. So some of that I think kept the momentum from really building at times. Although by the third act, like you had told me ahead of time, the third act, he nails it.
Rips.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, there were just a couple of little like thematic things. And my main thing was with the R rating. I was a little peeved about that because I thought the R rating was a sign that he was really going to like go full hard on with some of the stuff in the story, especially like with the violence and the sex. And my conspiracy theory is that he delivered to the studio a PG-13 movie. I know this is not true, but my theory is that he delivered a PG-13 movie to which Universal was like, oh, this is really good. This could win Best Picture again. But I don't know if they're going to take a PG-13 fantasy movie seriously.
Drop like 2 more R's, 2 more.
Let's
F-bombs
give
in
Corey Hawkins another couple F-bombs to ADR at
Yeah.
the end of the movie. Let's add in a couple CG spurts. It won't kill you, Chris. A little bit of CG here and there. No one's going to notice. The fucking
He
Scylla
does
thing.
use more in this than he has in a really long
Scylla
time.
looked not good. Everything else looked great, but the one CG in this was not very good. So that's my conspiracy theory about Universal making the movie R. But anyway, it's a good movie. I don't know if it's a great movie, but it's a good movie.
Yeah, it's funny. I think I had a hard time sort of talking about it just because I was like, well, it's a movie by the greatest living director. Like,
Right.
quite good.
It is also hitting on a lot of things he's covered before, and you and I kind
Yeah,
of
right. He's playing the hits. He's doing all this stuff. Like,
he's doing Dunkirk. He's doing Dark Knight Rises.
yeah,
doing
it's a
Interstellar.
war movie. It's about a guy who's torn up about
they're
not
on the
being able
beach
to
for
take care
half
of his
the movie.
family.
Yeah.
He's got to get back to his city. Like, he's doing all the stuff. He's
Well,
doing
like-
his thing, but he does that stuff really well. It's great.
Yeah, I'm not complaining. It's fine.
But like when it came to like all like because he does like intentionally put in callbacks of some of his previous
Yeah,
movies in there,
definitely.
and like what happened to me when I was coming across all of them, because like I generally think it was like a great movie,
Hmm.
is like when it made me realize that like, oh, he's been adapting the Odyssey for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Like all of these past movies, like in some shape or form, adapt part of the Odyssey. Like when it comes to like the protagonist's story and like their excuse me, their like spiritual journey back home.
No, Bruno,
Um,
this is an easy thing to confuse. The protagonist is the hero of Tenet. That's a different Christopher Nolan film.
But also to your point, Bruno.
thank you.
To your point, Bruno, I think it's not just narrative, but it's also the character. He has the version of Odysseus in this movie is not recognizable to me as the Odysseus from
Yeah.
the poem.
That's
It
fair.
is cut from the same cloth as your Robert Oppenheimers, your
Yeah.
Bruce Waynes, your Coopers from Interstellar, the guys who have made
Yeah.
very hard choices or have to create very, very great things for a necessary reason and are then grappling with,
Mhm.
is what I did really a good thing? Did I really do the right thing?
And I think that ties into like another reason, like why at least why I enjoyed the movie a lot more. I never read the Odyssey, or like the closest like relationship I ever had to the Odyssey was watching Troy, and like really that's about it. So like I was really just watching a Nolan movie, like a Nolan epic fantasy movie that I know was like based on like one of the most important pieces of literature of our time that like I just didn't have the chance to get into.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I just know that it was like his interpretation of it, and like I enjoyed what I saw.
I think it was, it is so much his interpretation of it, right?
Mhm.
There's been a lot of discussion about which translation he used.
It's the one, oh, I forgot it. Miller, I think is her name.
Emily Watson, no,
Tell me of a
Emily Wilson,
Emily
Wilson, sorry,
Wilson.
thank you.
Yeah.
Tell me of a complicated man is the
the
first
complicated
line.
man. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what drew him in, apparently.
Yeah. And I think that it's an incredibly that translation is very modern, but the Nolan film is an incredibly modern film. Like to your
Mhm.
point, Deepak, like he is talking about contemporary issues, and I think
Yeah.
that's what Nolan consistently does very, very well, is take these movies that are kind of like heady, dynamic trips about right, whether they're like ancient Greek war stories or
Mhm.
guys tripping through
Magicians in
time
the
backwards
1800s
or
or whatever. Yeah.
magicians
Right.
cloning themselves, whatever. But
Yeah.
like he finds a way to talk about it where he is grappling with like the current issues of our time. And obviously the poem The Odyssey doesn't consider Odysseus and his men to be like barbarous monsters that come out of the sea and destroy civilization. Like the whole poem is celebrating them as victors who have like beaten the barbarians and
Mhm.
taken
Mm-hmm.
on an uncivilized world and come back champions. But
Right.
Nolan is so thoughtful about how he adapts these things that I think he comes at it using this Trojan horse metaphor and this idea of
Right.
Zeus's law and
Mhm.
what did we like lose when we went into Troy that we couldn't bring back, and finds the way to piece together the important recognizable stuff in the Odyssey, like the Cyclops or the Harpies, uh, or any of the rest of it. Pardon me, not the Harpies, the
The
Sirens.
sirens. Yeah.
But like he pieces it all together in such ways where those blocks like add up to a bigger, much like more interesting idea than existed in the original text. And I
Yeah.
just thought that was really,
The
really
most
great.
effective thing he does is seeing the siege of Troy from three different perspectives.
Hmm.
We see the
Right.
initial one, we see it in the middle, and then at the end, it's a whole different thing. The way that he conceptualizes the gods who are very present, but just not the way we were expecting.
Yeah.
Zeus is there in the thunder.
Yep.
Zeus literally has a conversation with Calypso in the moment that she finally decides to let him go. She's reacting to the thunder. We see Athena, of course. I think the way that he's conceptualized Athena is incredible. Um,
The Athena stuff's amazing.
and then the idea of Athena also being in the movie at other times.
Yep.
Anytime Telemachus says you have Athena's eyes, you have honest eyes, that kind of
Right.
thing. Mentor is,
Mhm.
like you said earlier, he is also a version of Athena. So some of the god stuff there I thought was really, really fascinating, and I don't know how much more they could have really done with it, but I think that's one of the layers I've enjoyed peeling back over the last few days, is kind of going, oh yeah, they were there, really. They just, he does it in his own
They're
It's
cool.
interesting because I think the gods feel much more absent from this version of the story than I feel like they usually do from adaptations of the Odyssey. Like, short of Athena, he doesn't really talk to any of them.
No.
Yeah.
It feels like you could have a meaningful debate about whether or not they are even real. And
Right.
like
Mhm.
the ways that he tries to connect it into like real historical events is interesting, like the actual collapse of the Bronze Age and the theories behind why that happens.
Mhm.
And I think I think the poetic reading of what happens is that when, like with sorry, I'm scattering around a lot of thoughts. They talk a lot about Zeus's law, and the reason why it's supposedly an important idea is that you don't want to accidentally kill a god.
Mhm.
And
Right.
he goes through this, spoilers for the film if you haven't seen it, but also that seems like a given. He goes through the whole movie talking to Athena, played by Zendaya, and then at the end it is revealed that she was a priestess of Athena that was murdered during the raid of Troy.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's an interesting suggestion that maybe, or idea, that this was actually an avatar of Athena, like on Earth, and that by killing her, they somehow got rid of the wisdom in the world, and like that leads to the collapse of the Bronze Age and the subsequent medieval period. All of that stuff, I think, works because we don't like see Olympus at any point.
No.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is like in the poem, a lot of the action is spurred by like Odysseus being like lost and confused, and then like Hermes comes down and it's like, hey bud, we gotta go, right? Like that's might have been a little silly to like represent in the Nolan version of the film. I really liked that opening title card that says like it's an age of apparent magic or something like that. Like the specific language that they used, I don't quite recall, but I thought that it kind of left the door open for interesting stuff to happen without quite clarifying whether that was just a drug-addled memory of a thing that had happened or
Right.
really the thing that had happened. But I thought that the story of Athena, the treatment of like respect for strangers as respect for the gods, and then like the way that Odysseus had just been like so broken by like coming up with this idea for the Trojan horse, that he like did this underhanded war thing that was not his way, right? Because he talks about
wasn't honorable.
hunting the deer and giving the deer a heads up, and how
Right.
this Trojan horse maneuver was just the opposite of that in every way. And now he like can't go back to Ithaca because of that. I just thought the way
And
that
it
those
also
pieces fit together was so
and-
nice.
leads to
Athena
an
talks
interesting
about-
change to the ending also.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just gonna say Athena talks about like how do the gods communicate with us, and it's often in like easy to understand way, like more tactile ways. It's not in words, right? It's in pain or in joy or whatever. And so I think when he is like rattled by guilt and PTSD for the things that he did in Troy, that like is supposed to be the gods messing with him in a more tactile way, without again having them directly come down and put a hand on the scales. And I think all of that's neat.
Yeah.
In a story that is so usually like you say, like spurred on directly by divine
intervention. Do we have any performances we wanted to come out? I know that Leguizamo has been getting a lot of attention sort of all over the internet, with obviously fantastic performance by him.
Morton's great. Cersei, she's
Morton,
incredible.
Samantha Morton.
I thought Himesh Patel was really good. I didn't expect him to have such a large role, but he pretty much goes toe to toe with Damon the entire movie and holds his own. And then I'll let Riley talk about his boy, but I thought he was good too. Well, also, Tom Holland is getting too much hate. I thought he did fine. The one actor who really stood out to me as being severely badly miscast was Bernthal. Bernthal just does not work in a period setting.
I honestly think everyone fit like a glove, and that's something that I'm struggling to have, because like when it comes to like selecting a like supporting standout, I had a lot of trouble picking one. My top one would probably be Himesh Patel, but I genuinely think everyone like did the job really well, and it was very intentional why Nolan picked Bernthal for that role, and like why he like let Bernthal just speak the way that he does. Yeah,
because
of like the whole contemporary nature that he does bring to the way he tells the story. It's like it's the idea of like, because the Odyssey was originally told orally, like it wasn't originally written down, and so like he wants to tell the story orally to us, but in a way that we're going to understand. That's
which
why
is what Travis Scott is doing at the beginning.
It's what Travis Scott is doing at the beginning. It's why they modernize all of the dialogue, the accents, the the production
And
design,
I
the costume design.
yeah, everything is American. I get that. My only everyone else is equally modern and also fit in just as well.
Mm-hmm.
Bernthal, for some reason, I don't know what it is with his general disposition. It's not a. I think he's a good actor. I'm not against John Bernthal. I think he's a good actor, but
I do think he has a little bit of the vibe of your dad's old war buddy, right? And I think that like that is
he has
maybe
the vibe of your dad's old drinking buddy.
Yeah, sure, but like again, like
But he's supposed to have that.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I guess.
But it is funny to. I get what you're like. It is funny to me when he's like, "Hey kid, you want to hear about Odysseus? Let me tell you a little something about Odysseus." What movie are we watching?
What do you guys think of Safdie as Agamemnon?
I was about to bring up Safdie as Agamemnon. I thought that was insane.
I wish they never took the helmet off.
No,
I mean, I thought it was pretty funny when he takes off all the armor and he's just like a normal sized dude under all that.
Yeah,
like, I think that's a pretty funny punchline.
As soon as he takes the armor off, you're like, as soon as he takes the armor off, you're like, that's why they picked Benny Safdie, because it's just a puny motherfucker under that.
He's got great hair,
like a guy,
and he can. But like, talk about doing a voice, right? Safdie goes for it on the voice, and that's like, you know, it's the same performance sort of as Bowser Jr. in terms of like, he seems like he's sort of the only guy who's like, hey, I'm supposed to be playing a character, right? Pattinson is doing his thing.
Outrageous.
I mean, he's got the one really good scene. I will say the scene with him and Anne Hathaway.
Oh, where he's like, the loom. Oh my god,
where he's like,
shot.
I see you take this apart every day. You've got to pick one of us eventually. Just pick me. I actually want to be here. I'm not that bad. Like, that is really compelling stuff from Pattinson. And I think he is really good at that, like, disgusting but sort of appealing like monster. And that's what I like to see him do. I just my problem with Pattinson, and this is why earlier when we were talking about 6 movies a year, I feel like with Pattinson, even when he's working like this, it's like, hey, here's 3 scenes in a movie and one of them is really good. And like, that's what I'm giving you this year. You know, he's very rarely the lead anymore.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be. He doesn't have to be. He's got the money. He's good. He'll do Batman. He did Mickey 17. It's not like he doesn't like show up ever as the lead
in the drama, right?
Yeah, he's definitely co-lead with Zendaya. But he will do it every once in a while. It's not like but I think he's very happy to be the freaky, like the French prince who just shows up and shit talks Chalamet for 8 minutes and then leaves.
Yeah.
So,
he's good at it.
I really liked him in the end when just like swords would fall from the ceiling. Get the swords! Spears would fall from the ceiling. Get the spears!
Yeah, that was a silly
It was speaking of how Nolan keeps doing the stuff he's always been doing in the past, I just kept thinking of Dark Knight. Joker shows up at the penthouse.
Yes.
And then Batman shows up to fight all the goons, and you see Joker in the corner just kind of slink away. He's like, this is your guy. This is your thing. You guys go.
Yes. No, so I thought that the few, like that end scene and the loom scene were from Pattinson were pretty good. I thought the Damon performance, especially the
sirens,
when he's tied to the mast and he's screaming, but then the voiceover over that of him describing what it sounded like, I was like, I mean, that's his Oscar clip. Like, if he gets a nomination, that is the clip they pull. I don't know that this perforence deserves a nomination.
I don't think it's going to get one.
It's just, you know, the last guy who was the titular lead.
I hear you.
He got the win,
Look,
so maybe he gets a nomination by
default. There are a lot of, and maybe this is where we transition to the awards talk now. As premature as it may be. Look, technically, yes, this is going to get a ton of nominations. I can list them all out for you now.
It's a Mad Max.
That said, it's also going to be going up against Dune 3. So I don't know that it's guaranteed to win anything. I think it will get the nomination for Best Picture because there has to be the one popular movie that people have actually seen. Does Nolan get a nomination for director? Probably. I don't know that that's definite only because he just won. That's the same reason I don't know that this is a slam dunk to win Best Picture. That's the same reason I don't think it's a slam dunk that any of the acting, not like you say, Riley, the only person who has enough screen time to really make that big of an impression is Damon. If anyone gets supporting, it's either Leguizamo or it could potentially be Morton if they really go for that performance, even though it's super brief. It's not unheard of that like a one scene stealer really gets nominated. Damon's performance felt very Russell Crowe in Gladiator to me, which I know did win an Oscar, but I don't know if the same type of performance wins an Oscar 25 years later.
I think Hathaway is aiming for an Oscar. And I think
Hathaway is the only person that knows how to do the voice in this movie. Like, to your point earlier,
I totally
forgot about her, and this was point that I wanted to make. She is unencumbered by the sort of modern dialogue thing in a way that all the
Right.
other actors are maybe a little bit like hunky junky. That's Holland sounds like Spider-Man when he talks, and like that's the
I mean,
problem. And he
that's
can't figure out how to not sound like Spider-Man. I get that that's what he's really good at, is like the
yeah.
boy, I'm just so earnest, but like
Right.
It's also
he
kind
needs
of the
to not
character,
sound like
though, right?
Spider-Man when he
Yeah.
talks. It's distracting.
Yeah.
On the male
I feel
actor
like there
side,
was when I was just sitting in this movie, I remember I got Spider-Man and then I got Dune Part 3, and I feel like there was a third trailer that had like Zendaya or Holland in it or something where I was like, oh my god, where are other actors?
how Deepak feels every time he sees Adam Driver.
My God. He's
On
gonna
the
ruin
lead
Heat
actor
2.
side, of course, we will have Tom Cruise in the lead role of Digger as probably
Right.
the odds-on favorite for
It'd be a terrible movie.
who knows. Sebastian Stan in Fjord. He's of course a perennial Oscar favorite these days, and Fjord did win at Cannes.
Mhm.
Pedro Pascal in Behemoth is probably likely to turn heads. We also have Totoro and Malkovich as sort of perennial, old heads that might get an opportunity to win here. And I did not see, but you all saw Project Hail Mary, Ryan Gosling.
Right.
I don't think that's
Well,
gonna get nominated.
That's the thing. If we're picking between Matt Damon and Ryan Gosling, I do think it's Matt Damon.
Fair
When it comes to how stacked the field is going to be at the end, and if we're picking out like 5 nominees and like one of those 2 need to go, I feel like Matt Damon would be going ahead of Ryan Gosling into the lineup.
I would agree that Damon is more likely to be nominated, even though I personally would not nominate either of them. But if I had to choose, I would probably choose Gosling.
Well, you say you won't nominate either of them, but then at the same time, I'm trying to think like who else is there this year?
Who else?
I don't know. We haven't seen the vast
We haven't seen
majority of the
anything. It's
movies
middle
that
of the
are
summer.
really, really good.
If it's 4 months, that's the thing. Like
Yeah.
this is and this is where I agree with Deepak, is like this movie's just Christopher Nolan will get a nomination. There will be craft stuff, but like we
Right.
just haven't seen the real contenders yet.
That's the
I
thing,
mean, on the female side again, right? We have Julianne Moore is going to be in The Debut. Renata Reinsva is going to be in Fjord. Michelle Williams has a movie coming. Sandra Hüller has a movie coming.
Sandra
Mickey
Hüller has
Madison's-
multiple.
Mickey
Digger,
Madison's going to be in The
Fatherland,
Social Reckoning.
Mikey.
I always say Mickey. Mikey Madison's going to be in The Social Reckoning. And then, I mean, I don't know if this is legitimate or not, but Indy Navarrete is like hanging out there as a potential.
That is legitimate. The only thing is they're shuffling her between lead and supporting.
So like those are, I just think, examples of folks who could be in the conversation. If you are looking at Odyssey and thinking as Oscar season started, I think that's the company. Cool. I think we did another podcast, guys.
I would love to see Leguizamo nominated. I think that was
I agree.
that was a bold
AF
casting
movie.
choice, and he crushed it. Yeah,
And he knew exactly who he wanted too, right? Like
Yeah.
that's the thing. He didn't like fuck around. He was like, Leguizamo in my movie, get in here.
yeah.
Before we jump off, I did want to get like everyone's opinion on like one part of the movie because.
Do we want to do rankings also after this?
Oh, we should.
Yeah, we'll do.
Go ahead, Bruno,
we'll do rankings after this, but like really quickly, a lot of like when it comes to like prestige movies or like I almost said Oscar baiting movies, but sometimes that is what they are. Like, there's like a certain checklist that you got to hit to like make sure that you're going to get in there. And usually, one of those checklists is making sure you have like at least 1 or 2 like rather like long shots in a movie. This movie did not have a single shot going over like 15 seconds, like max.
15 is long. 15 is really
Well,
long.
okay.
Can I take you?
Probably-
There's no. But
Well, the money shot trailer is not in the movie. That's the big one everyone's talking about. The wide shot of them trying to pull a horse out of the sand.
Right. What I am getting to is like there's a lot of quick cutting in this movie, like more than I would ever have expected for like an epic. What do you guys think are the chances when it comes to like editing?
I think editing is its best shot. I think editing, and I don't know about sound because of Dune again, but I think editing is the one that if I had to put the most money on it winning any Oscar, it would be editing.
Okay.
I think that I don't know a lot about this department, but my understanding is that he was doing such incredible stuff on the IMAX side of this film that I think that he might have been limited by the technology. Like I don't know how long an IMAX shot you can get. Even
the camera can only run for 3 minutes tops before it needs to cool down.
Yeah, sure. There you go.
And I hear it's a loud son of a bitch, even if you do invent a new thing to put over it to keep it quieter, and create
the mirrors and all
mirror
that
somebody has to look
crazy.
into so they can see the actor they're acting against. Like, I think again, I think because of some of that accomplishment, the technical stuff will be awarded to us, even if it wasn't necessarily on screen. I just think that this movie is like moving the industry, right? And Nolan has talked so much about how he feels such a burden of responsibility to move the industry because he's the guy who's able to do it.
Right.
That I think awards will recognize that approach. I will say, Bruno, that something I thought was just incredible and like something I hadn't seen in any of his movies before was the music in this one. I thought this might have been his best.
They like had to reinvent instruments for this. It's nuts.
Yeah.
Goranson's gonna win a 4th Oscar. It's nuts.
He like blacked
went
out.
above and beyond.
This is like his best. I talk all the time about how back when I was in college, I saw Goranson and Donald Glover perform in Baltimore, and Goranson was just like playing the guitar, and he just looked like he went into a trance. And I just imagine that like this must be what happened when he was doing the Odyssey score. He just like his eyes rolled back in his head like a mentat, and he just started shredding that Cyclops number. It was incredible. It was the loudest thing I'd ever heard in a movie theater in my life when the Cyclops started freaking out.
Oh, I heard something about that. I don't even know if it's true. Sorry, I don't mean to keep dragging this out. That apparently the sound of the Cyclops is the sound of a brazen bull. Do you know what that is?
That'd be awesome if that's true.
That is nuts if it's true.
I mean, D-Bag, you should tell folks about bronze bulls.
No, I'm not going to do that. You guys can go ahead. I just learned about it today. Well, that's why I'm.
Everybody can research how a bull is bronzed if they want to get into that on Wikipedia. All right, Christopher Nolan has made 11 movies.
13 following.
13. You're absolutely right. I don't have.
That's the only one I haven't seen. So 12, including Memento, really.
Because if we can do top 5s maybe, and we can talk about where Odyssey fits in.
Sure.
I have on my list. I will say number 5, The Dark Knight. Number 4, Inception. Number 3, The Prestige. Number 2, Oppenheimer. And number 1, Tenet.
Nice. Fucking madman. I love you.
I do not have Odyssey on this list right now. I don't know where it goes. I think it probably will replace Oppenheimer, and Oppenheimer will get bumped towards the bottom because I don't have a logic to this system. It's not a one in, one out thing. But this was sort of based for me on how inclined I would be to go see them in theaters again. You know, I feel like Christopher Nolan has just become such a theatrical guy that I was like, if these movies were all in theaters on the same day, what's the order I would get to them in? And I mean, how would I not go see Tenet in theaters if I could? What a perfect film. I see it in theaters any chance I get. Who wants to go next? Top 5 Nolans, and where do you put the Odyssey?
Sure. I mean, I have the Odyssey currently in my top 5, so I'll talk about it real quick. My number 5 is Inception. It is constantly switching places with number 6, which is Tenet, so I just need to quickly shout that out. Number 4 is Oppenheimer. Number 3 is Odyssey. Number 2 is The Dark Knight, and number 1 is Interstellar.
My man.
Now, Bruno, have you thought about the fact that the word pull-up is actually a palindrome, and does that increase your ranking?
This is how he tried to sell me on this movie over the weekend.
What does this have to do with anything?
He does pull-ups.
He does a pull-up in the movie.
Yeah, at the end.
Okay.
D-Bag, talk about Interstellar.
Yeah, Interstellar is my number 1. I mean, come on. Number 2 is Dark Knight. Number 3 is Batman Begins. Number 4 is Oppenheimer. Number 5 is Tenet.
That's some Batman love right there.
Begins is his most underrated movie. No one appreciates
It's
Begins.
Very good. It is the sort of, I mean,
everyone just goes, "Oh, big cameras," in the other ones. We like if you like Dark Knight Rises more than Begins, I don't know what to tell you.
I think Dunkirk is underrated because I have it towards the bottom of my list, and I need to give it a rewatch because I feel like I misjudged that.
I have Rises at the very bottom of my list, despite liking it more than most people.
Okay.
I always remember that when Rises came out, Jack, you had not seen any of the Batman movies, and we went to go see all of them sort of back to back to back at an AMC premiere thing. And I had prepped Jack for the understanding that Dark Knight was sort of a high watermark in the superhero genre.
Right.
And we got to the end of Batman Begins and the lights came up because they gave you a little chance to walk around between. And Jack looked over at me and goes, "How is the next one going to be any better than that?"
You feel that way more than any other story.
Yeah, it's definitely a 5-timer for sure. It gets a little jacket. It gets to hang out in the lounge. It can come see the live show whenever it wants. That story is in the 5-timers club. But Jack, what are your top 5 Nolan movies?
Gosh, it's tricky. But off the top of my head right now, I feel like number 5 is probably Memento. Number 4 might be The Odyssey now. But, recency bias, it could move. Number 3 would be The Dark Knight. Number 2 is Interstellar. And I believe number 1 is still Oppenheimer.
Oh.
Not a bad list.
That's a solid list, yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be crazy if you could spell Oppenheimer backwards. This has been
Not palindrome.
Nerdigo News. Thank you so much for listening. Before we get out of here, we're going to hit you with some pop culture recommendations. These are things we've been watching, reading, eating, playing, or listening to that we've enjoyed recently, and we think you'll like too. This week, I'm going to start with Bruno.
Pop culture recommendations. I was not ready for this. I've been playing a lot of Elden Ring again. Just getting right back into that. The medieval fantasy of Odyssey and it all. I almost said Oppenheimer. Got me back into it. Could you imagine if J. Oppenheimer was just like rolling with an axe to like try to get the world war going?
Really big spirit bomb.
I could.
That's what I've been doing. Trying to stick with no magic because I really just want to stick to the whole realism of it all. But at the same time, just unga bunga all the way. So yeah, just playing some Elden Ring.
Let me ask you this, Bruno. I had once considered the idea of doing a Skyrim playthrough where I didn't use any weapons the whole time. And Jack and I could never decide whether offensive magic constituted a weapon. What says you?
No, if you're not using weapons, then magic does not count as a weapon.
I couldn't decide if it just needed to be a punch exclusive run or not, I think was the problem. But we can take that offline. We don't have to work it out in the post credits here. Deepak, what you got?
Inspired by the Odyssey, I started digging into some mythological movies that I happen to have in my possession, including rewatching the recent Clash and Wrath of the Titans, which were more fun than I remembered, especially Wrath. Would definitely urge people to revisit those if they're your cup of tea. They are exactly the type of thing that appeal to the 12-year-old boy inside me.
I just want to quickly shout out Deepak. When I left the Odyssey, Holly is really, really, really big into the original text and stuff, and she was upset by the lack of mythology and seeing gods for real and stuff. And I was like, we should check out Clash of the Titans at some point.
It's better than I remembered it, but mainly because the cast. You every scene someone you're like, oh, I know you were in this. Oh, I know you were in this.
Yes, it's like a who's who.
Yeah.
Wrath of the Titans was 2012. Clash was before
10.
that?
10 was right after Avatar. They did the shitty 3D conversion.
I can never remember the order.
Because Clash...
Those two are the Apes movies for me.
Clash is the remake. Wrath is the sequel.
Correct.
Got it. Jackson, how about yourself?
Mine's sort of cheating because I haven't watched it yet, but I'm aware that I'm going to. I have a close friend who is a known Christopher Nolan hater. And ages ago, when Oppenheimer was first announced, Bruno, it's Sumner. Ages ago, when Oppenheimer was first announced, I put on our to-do list to watch "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou" when it comes out, because I knew that there would be little interest from her to go see this version, and that is my second favorite Odyssey film. So I intend to watch that this weekend, and we'll report back, and you should do the same.
I enjoyed, by proxy, Sumner's distaste for Christopher Nolan movies when Jack and I were in a car over the weekend because we were talking about Nolan original films, and I was trying to make the case that Tenet would have done better if theaters were open, and Jack, sort of being used to maybe a less receptive Tenet audience, or Nolan audience, but Tenet audience, was pushing back on this idea, and then suddenly went, I guess Interstellar and Inception were both pretty popular. And I was like, yeah, he makes crazy movies. He doesn't make normal movies.
Interstellar is one of the greatest movies of our time.
If you think I have anything to talk about other than Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced, you're a fool, but I will do my best. Andy Serkis got online and talked about some Hunt for Gollum nonsense, whether or not he intended to. He sort of threw around some dog whistles that certain racists use when they talk about Tolkien stuff.
For the record, Riley, I've been loving your shit on TikTok.
Your thing is nuts, man.
Yeah,
thank you. Yeah, I did post about this on TikTok, and I got 20,000 views or whatever. So if you want to see all my thoughts on Andy Serkis's Lord of the Rings opinions, you can head over to my TikTok. It's also shared on our TikTok at Nerdigo Media. But yeah, that sent me scurrying for my books. So I've been just sort of reading little Tolkien stories here and there. but yesterday I read The Shadow Returns. If you've never read The Shadow Returns before, it is maybe like 6 or 7 pages that Tolkien wrote once that was sort of supposed to be a sequel to Lord of the Rings. The idea was what would happen when eventually the young people of the world were raised in a world where they didn't have to worry about evil anymore. What would happen when they eventually became banal and sort of jaded to the idea of evil? How would that shadow come back into the world? So it's a really interesting story. It's really little. It's just like the very, very beginnings of the idea for a story, but it was cool to revisit. So
Yeah.
I've been in my extended Tolkien bullshit. This has been Nerdigo News. Thank you so much for listening. If you want to watch this show, we want to remind you can get it on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@nerdigomedia, or our website, nerdigo.com, if you're more into the whole brevity thing. You can also get short clips of this show, plus me ranting and raving about Tolkien on our social media @nerdigomedia on TikTok, Blue Sky, Twitter, and Instagram. And you can also get all of our stuff sent to your email address, plus all of KB's San Diego Comic-Con coverage by heading to our website, nerdigo.com, and typing in your email address into the box that pops up. And then you can set it and forget it. You'll never have to worry about this again. We come to you. Bring the mountain to Muhammad. I want to thank Bruno Meneses. I don't think that's offensive, Bruno, but you can cut it out if it was. I want to thank
I just never heard it before.
This show. I want to thank me for hosting the show. I want to thank Deepak and Jack for being here as always. I want to thank you for listening. And I want to remind you that you can tune in next week to hear